Square inches. 1. The pile. The laundry pile keeps staring at me from the end of the couch. I keep thinking if I could just get on top of things, maybe I'd feel different, like one of those women online who folds things into little cubes and smiles the whole time. Jared says it a lot. Get on top of things. He says it when he's looking at the bills or the counter or me. I don't think he means to sound harsh. It's just how he talks. The kids are clattering spoons against the floor, cartoons humming in the background. I start another load of towels and wonder if I'm maybe a little ADHD. Maybe that's why I can't keep up. I picture some future version of myself who has bins with labels and a calendar that works. She probably doesn't feel like a ghost in her own house. 2. The noise. He's in one of his moods again. The whole house bends around it like it's weather. He bangs pans, mutters about the electric bill, goes quiet. I try to read him like a forecast. If I do the right thing, maybe the air will clear. I scrub the sink until it squeaks. He tells me I'm scattered, and I laugh a little because he's right. I lose my keys, forget the grocery list. If I could just focus, maybe we wouldn't argue so much. Maybe he wouldn't look so tired. When he slams the front door and drives off, the silence rings in my ears. I stack the plates, run the dishwasher again even though it's half full, and try to remember what feeling calm used to be like. 3. The room. The craft room smells like dust and fabric glue. Nobody goes in here anymore. It used to be mine before we needed somewhere to put the old stroller and boxes of wires Jared swore he'd sort. I switch on the flickering light and start moving things. Just small shifts, enough to see the floor. I don't even know why I'm doing it. Maybe to prove I can finish one thing. Maybe just to hear a sound that isn't his voice. After half an hour, I find the old cutting mat under a pile of mail and wipe it clean. The green grid looks almost new. When I turn off the light, the room looks quieter. That's all. Just quieter. 4. The secret. The morning after I cleaned the craft room, I almost told him. He was standing in the kitchen, pacing, looking for something to be mad about. It's not always obvious what it'll be. Sometimes a missing receipt, sometimes the way I breathe when he's talking. I had this tiny flicker of pride in my chest and thought maybe I'd mention it, just to share something good. But I didn't. He'd make a joke about how I should try doing the kitchen next, or how I finally found my hobby. So I kept it to myself. Later, while I was wiping peanut butter off May's face, I remembered the smell of dust and fabric glue and how calm it had felt for those few minutes. I decided not to tell anyone about that room again. It was my secret, my one tidy, quasi-orderly square in the whole world, but orderly the way I like order. An order that enfolds possibility, that caresses the edges of the chaos, that savors what is right now, but also leaves room for what will be tomorrow. 5. The closet. Saturday, he took the kids out for ice cream and told me to make good use of the time. I wasn't sure what that meant, so I opened the hallway closet. Shoes, half-broken toys, coats we don't wear. I started sorting, not fast, just steadily, one thing after another. I found a pair of little rain boots May had outgrown and a scarf that still smelled faintly like my old perfume. It made me weirdly happy, like finding proof that I'd been someone before this. When they came home, I had the closet half empty and the floor swept. Nobody noticed. He was talking too loud. The kids were sticky and wild. But when I shut that closet door later, the latch clicked like a secret handshake. 6. The quiet hours. I started waking up earlier, not by much, just half an hour before everyone else. The house is a different animal before sunrise. No yelling, no TV, no footsteps. I can hear the tick of the clock in the kitchen. I clean in slow motion. Wipe one counter, rinse a cup, fold a dish towel just right. It's not about getting ahead anymore. It's about that thumbnail size, secret, just mine satisfaction, that tiny hum of something right. Sometimes I think if I can hold this rhythm, this quiet, this stillness, I'll remember who I am under the noise. But then the toilet flushes and the spell breaks. It's time to start the day again. 7. The pushback. He noticed before I did. Not the cleaning. The shift. One morning, while I was wiping the table before breakfast, he watched me like I'd changed languages. "What's gotten into you?" he asked, half smiling, half suspicious. "What do you mean?" I'd said. He grunted. "You're making me nervous with all this energy." Energy? Wiping the table? I said. I laughed it off, but my stomach knotted. Why did my stomach knot? Later, in the bathroom, I looked in the mirror and saw it. Not energy, exactly, but steadiness. Something in my face looked uninterested in convincing him. Had I seen that expression before? A long time ago, I think. It suited me. 8. The drawer. The kids were down for naps when I opened the junk drawer. It had taken them forever, and now I needed a nap. Or a rest that I wouldn't get. The junk drawer was one of those household fossils. Batteries, takeout menus, a lone screwdriver, coins sticky with old soda. I started sorting without thinking. The rhythm felt familiar. Decide, toss, keep, toss. Halfway through, I found an unopened pack of crayons. I took them to the craft room and laid them beside May's old sketchbook. Next to it were some dandelions she'd picked me. "Here, Mommy," she'd said, holding them in her chubby little hands, wanting me to look happy. I laid them on top of the crayon box, making a little altar. When Jared came home, he oddly noticed the junk drawer right away. He stared at it. "Where's my charger?" he said, frowning and blinking as if I'd moved his oxygen supply. "You're obsessed." I shrugged. "Okay, Jared." He stood there too long, like he wanted to argue but couldn't find the words. Then he walked away. I wanted to slam that drawer shut. But that would make my drawer tidying about us, not just mine. So I slipped out the back door and ran past the shed to where the trees started. Cold air, dark ground. No one could see, no one could hear. I stopped, and the sound came out of me. Harsh, breaking, nothing like words. I grabbed a branch and slammed it against a tree until it snapped. Then another. My breath burned. I kicked the dirt, the trunk, anything, close enough to take it. The woods got quiet. Maybe he heard. Maybe he didn't. Let him. Maybe he'd think it was a deer, or, hell, let him worry about how angry I might get. As I looked up at the stars, breathing hard and leaning against the trunk of a pine, I thought, am I finding out why I had so much trouble staying on top of things? Was it somehow the only way we knew how to be together? Him being disapproving, me being... what? Less than? Following his lead like a little dog? And now something was breaking loose. I couldn't have tackled it all at once, but somehow, inch by inch, I had found my way back to some of my own power. I guess I couldn't have known how he would react, but maybe I had tested the waters, little by little, until here I was, getting clearer, a lot clearer. 9. The closet light. Eventually, I couldn't stand our bedroom closet anymore. It felt like walking into someone else's mess. His jackets crumpled, my dresses shoved into corners. I started with the top shelf, stacking sweaters, folding things that smelled faintly of his cologne and beer. At the back of the shelf, I found a photo I'd forgotten about. Me, years ago, standing by the lake, hair a mess, sunburned and laughing. I pinned it behind the sweaters where only I'd see it. I stuck a little LED light up next to that shelf. When he came in that night, he asked if I'd seen his gray hoodie. Maybe, I said. He rummaged, didn't find it, muttered something, went back to his phone. I left the little light on and the door cracked open. The faint glow spilled onto the floor next to my side of the bed like a nightlight. I stared at it while I brushed my teeth. It seemed to promise possibilities just beyond the edge of naps and dishes and habits. 10. The crack. The fight started over the thermostat. He said the bill was too high again. I said the kids were cold. He said I was ungrateful, impossible. I said nothing, which made him louder. When he slammed the door, something inside the wall rattled. The kids cried. After I tucked them back in, I polished the floor in the hallway by the bedrooms. Every circle of my rag calmed the noise in my chest. I wiped the baseboards until the wood shone. The air smelled like lemon oil and a little bit of smoke from his cigarette outside. I might have been on my knees, but I felt fierce, protective, claiming territory and making it fit for my babies. And then I put in my earphones and forced myself to jiggle it to Aretha as I ran myself a bath. 11. The stillness. Weeks blurred together. He came and went, muttering about overtime that never showed up on the checks. I just kept on waking early, cleaning, packing lunches, paying bills. No one noticed, but the house stayed brighter now, lighter somehow. The kids started copying me. Henry lined up his toy cars on the windowsill, all facing east. May folded napkins into triangles. When Jared yelled from another room, they looked at me first. I smiled, small, to show them we were fine. I caught myself humming sometimes. Real songs, not nursery ones. I hadn't done that in years. The sound startled me. It felt like someone opening a window. 12. The room again. One night after they'd all fallen asleep, I walked back to the craft room. The lamp's yellow glow hit the clean floor, the folded fabrics, the little cup of crayons. I sat down at the desk and listened. No television, no footsteps, just the soft hum of the fridge down the hall. I picked up a pencil and drew the outline of a house. Not this one. Something smaller, brighter, windows everywhere. I didn't write a caption or a plan. I just sat there until the lines felt right. For once, I didn't need to explain why the quiet mattered or whom I was doing it for. I turned off the lamp, and the dark didn't feel like loss. It felt like space.